John Long Silver Rails here. Once again, this year I went to the Moultrie train show at Spence Field in Moultrie, Georgia. Spence Field was a World War II training site for American pilots, and it's got quite an interesting history. And it was a wonderful car show with lots of vendors. According to my son's watch that counts steps, I must have walked about 7 miles, but I only saw at most maybe 40% or 50% of the stuff that was there. And yes, there were some trains, and I'll show you what I got in just a minute. All right, first up, for a grand total of $5, is this crossing gate that I got. You can see it's labeled $5 on this little blue sticker. And I'm trying to remember if it's Lionel or American Flyer. I can't remember. But I couldn't pass it up at that price. I'm going to have to fiddle with it to get it to work right, it looks like. Yeah, there it goes. Just a single one. It didn't come in a pair. And then for a grand total of $10, I got a mishmash of stuff. This is Marx, of course. And I got this wind-up track. And then I have a Hafner caboose. You never know what you're going to find at these car shows. They got everything there from guns and knives, tools, cars, trains, Americana, you name it. Another Marx. This is the 3/16 gauge. Or scale. This one they were all labeled cheap, like $2, but I bundled them and paid $10 for everything in this bag. Now here's a unique lines hopper of all things. Who would have expected that to show up? And the little Marx caboose that goes with the gondola. And there's one more thing in here. The Niagara Falls, New York Chemical Corporation tank car. It's in beautiful shape. I see no rust on it or anything like that. So basically I got these nice 3 Marx cars. And this 6-inch Marx car. The Hafner car. And the unique lines hopper. Pretty good for the little bit I paid. And now, the big purchase. This next item cost $200. Let me show you what I got. Well, I got a box for $200, and in that box, starting out, we had the American Flyer box loading accessory. Boxes are spring loaded. They come down here and are pushed down the chute into the car by remote control. So it's in pretty nice shape, no rust. It just needs dust cleaned off, stuff like that. Track, everyday, common S-gauge track. Unfortunately, I don't really need the track. I got a lot of track. That was the straight track. We have the curved track. It's all in pretty good shape, not all rusted out. Let me get it out of the way. Of course, things like this are important. This is to operate the operating cars. The little thing that sticks out of the side of the car rubs on that. When you push the button, it operates. This one is for the automatic dump car. And we have a transformer. This is a good one. Now, I've noticed from other YouTubers that some folks just don't understand these American Flyer transformers. So let me explain something. They're designed to leak a little bit of power and not shut off entirely, so that the locomotive E unit does not drop into neutral. That way it'll start the train in the same direction it was going in when you turn down the handle to zero. There's zero right there. Now this handle here is what turns the power all the way off, because it pops up, as you can see. Now, as a selling point for young kids back in the day, they called this the dead man's handle. The gimmick was that if the locomotive engineer died at the throttle, the handle would pop up and the train would stop. But the real purpose of this is to cut the power entirely so the E unit doesn't cycle. So if you have one and the E unit stays on, it bleeds a little power, that's normal. It's supposed to do that. You're supposed to do this to forward and reverse and neutral. And while we're on that subject, with the Lionel ZW transformers, you see guys cranking those handles back and forth like crazy to cycle the E units. All you're doing is wearing down your carbon roller. Use the little on-off lever next to the handle to cycle the E unit. Never do this cranking stuff back and forth, back and forth. So I'm very happy with this transformer. It's a nice medium size, fairly good shape. It's the 15B, 110 watts. Base in Flyer lingo would be U, or common in Lionel lingo. So 7 to 15 volts is right here. You see, it's 7 is the bottom. 15 volt to base, that would be here if you want for accessories. Good transformer. It has a circuit breaker and of course a power on button. And I don't have to rewire the power cord, it's still flexible. Well, we either have empty boxes or we have boxes with something in them. This box is for a 940 hopper car. Wabash. It's a nice one. I don't think I have that one. I don't show my Flyer collection off much, but I do have Flyer and I do like Flyer. So that's part of the deal. Now we have Action Caboose, number 977. It's got the little man in the back that pops out and in. I think it goes in when the train's running and pops out when the train stops. And it's illuminated. Now that's a really nice little caboose. It's got a little glue damage on the roof. So it goes. Other than that, we can touch that up if we have to. This one's labeled 916 container gondola car. See if we can open the end flap here without damaging it too much. I'll try this end, I think. It was the Delaware and Hudson, I mean. It's got the 5 containers that say D and H on them. So it's good to have the containers with it, that's for sure. Somehow they all 5 fit in here. Well, actually, if you look at the containers, they have these little slots. And that keeps them from rotating. The slot goes, I guess, on the slot that's in the gondola. if you can figure out how to do that. I'm just happy to get them in the gondola as they were when it came out. But that's a beautiful car in beautiful shape. Excellent or better, probably excellent plus. I don't see any rust. I don't think this stuff was run much. You gotta wonder what the story is behind these sets when you find them. Diesel horn control box. Well, that's a clue, isn't it? I must have a diesel in here somewhere. But there's the control box for the diesel horn. And there's a vertical thing that plugs into it, which is right here. And, you know, I've never hooked up the diesel horn on any of my Flyer diesels and tried them out. Maybe I'll try to do it this time finally. But that's I just never wired one up. And now I have one in the original box. Maybe I've run out of excuses. Maybe I'll do it. Okay, it's not in the box. It's an Erie box car. It's the operating box car that goes with this. And here's the little bar that rubs on that device I showed that causes it to throw out the boxes. And there's a little man in there. I don't know if the boxes are in this car or not. I might have to take it apart and look to see, but that's very nice to have. In good shape. Very heavy car. American Flyer operating box car. I'll take that any day. Alright, we have looks like a manual and coupler track. This would not be the one that has the electromagnetic device in it. Actually, I take it back. It's not manual, it is the electromagnetic one. When you push the button, this comes up. When that comes up, it presses on the little bar, the weight bar there. So when it's shut, the weight bar's down. This little thing comes up and opens the knuckle, as you can see. The weight of this thing allows it to close. Pops open, closes. So they also made one that you just push your finger on it to lift the little bars. That's what I thought this was at first, but no, it's the electrical one. So far I'm assuming that everything here, possibly including the accessory and the transformer, came in a set, but I'm not sure about that. All right, we have a big box right here. And in the big box, we have a locomotive. And it's in pretty nice shape. This is the dummy locomotive, the dummy A unit. It's got a few scuffs and things on it. It's not perfect. I'll tell you though, when I found these locomotives were sitting on top of the track all unboxed. I'd say I found it just in the nick of time to save it. It's a shame that these things get that far along and then they're not in that good a shape. This one here has a busted knuckle, so that's something for me to fix. I'm pretty sure I can, matter of fact, I have that part packed away somewhere. So we'll let that go for now. Well, we have here the log dump car. No rust. There's the little control bar. And we have the coal dump car. And there's the little control bar for it. They're both in beautiful shape. So we got 3 operating cars with this set. The box, 4 actually, counting the action caboose. The box car that dumps boxes, and the coal dump car, and the log dump car. Beautiful shape, no rust. Now what's next? This is the B unit. It is in nice shape. 471. And I don't have a B unit. I do have one Santa Fe AA diesel set without the B unit. So now I have my second one, and this one has the B unit. Well, we got a heavy box here. And we have a screw. Now, I don't know, somewhere on this, on one of these trains, we're going to need this screw. And I'll probably put it somewhere and not be able to find it. I'll put it right there. And we also have, I don't know if that's from a searchlight car or what that is. Well, it magnifies a little bit. I don't know what it's for. I'll put that over here, get it out of the way. It was just mixed in here with this stuff, I guess. This is the powered unit. You notice that although the wheels pick up, it picks up here too, on both sides. This would be a traction wheel here. This would be a traction wheel here. It has 2 motors, and that's the E unit lever underneath. Now this one's in better shape than the dummy unit, so I'm glad for that. So I'm very happy to have this beautiful locomotive. I guess I'll leave it out and see if it'll run. Is there anything else in this box? We'll find out. There's something here. I don't know what it is. Something here. Well, I have to go slow. I'm finding more stuff. This is the log unloading control button and the trackside thing that clips onto the track that activates it when you push the button, so that's good to have. Somebody went to some trouble to wrap this up. Looks like for years somebody carefully stored this train, and whatever damage there was probably from when it was played with as a child. Well, I guess this is a bonus item here, the old American flag. Labeled, this bag is labeled manual and instruction sheets. It's always good to have these things. Gilbert American Flyer instruction book and a whole bunch of loose instruction sheets. There's the one for the box loader. We just got all kinds of stuff to go through here later. see is some trash and whatever this is. This is a list somebody wrote out of what was in the box. That's what these are. Yeah, somebody did an inventory. Somebody went to a lot of trouble. And then it winds up at a car show in Georgia. It was in a building, almost under the guy's table, down where it was dark. I didn't even see it. One of my sons saw it and pointed it out to me. And it had $200 scribbled on the side of the box, which I didn't think was the price, but I guess it just said 200, but that turned out, yeah, right here, 200. And that turned out to be the price, which I thought was reasonable when you consider what I got. So now the question is, will this run? And I haven't honestly operated anything on my American Flyer layout in a long time. So it's almost the question is, does my Flyer layout still work? Because the track gets dirty and it sits. So we'll find out in a minute. Well, I took this engine apart, cleaned the commutator, checked the reverse unit. Everything looks okay, the wiring, everything, but I can't get it to run. I've never been particularly good at repairing these American Flyer diesel engines. I'm pretty good on the steamers, but not the diesels. At any rate, I guess I'll try again in the future. So that's all for now. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you.